Hello, this is Dr. Christy Patton-Lukes, a chemical engineering professor at Missouri S&T. In this video lesson, we're going to be looking at ways of estimating costs using module factors, and you will need to have a copy of Turton's textbook in order to follow along. This material is coming from Chapter 7, which is on capital cost estimates. So there are some different categories for what we mean by total cost. Sometimes all we mean is that we're going to purchase the equipment and pay to get it to our facility, install it, and so forth. This would be a bare module cost. It's going to account for the direct and indirect costs of the piece of equipment, and it's going to be the appropriate one when you're doing something like just simply replacing a piece of equipment. But if you need to do a larger expansion to a plant, but it's an existing plant, then we're going to do a total module cost. So it's going to be a little bit more comprehensive: installation cost, engineering cost, etc. And then finally, we sometimes are just building a brand new facility, so I need to start by clearing dirt and so forth. And when I do that, that's going to be for a new plant, including site development costs, and that's called the grassroots cost. So we will be using these three terms throughout the rest of this course. Now, I said that we're going to be doing cost estimates using module factors in this lesson. This is going to be a method of allowing you to estimate the cost, whether it's the bare module, total module, or grassroots cost, knowing very little more than the size of the major equipment. It's going to be a rough estimate, but it doesn't require me to know data such as, oh, well, last time I bought one of these, it cost X dollars. Now, you will definitely need Appendix A out of the textbook to do these calculations, or the software cap cost that's available with the textbook. But remember, it's a rough estimate. I keep mentioning that because this is the roughest of our estimation techniques. Now, never use more than 3 significant figures from this information. They're just not going to be valid. In addition to the terms bare module, total module, or grassroots cost, which is based on the total final bill that we're going to have to pay to get this equipment installed appropriately, we're also going to have 2 other things, C sub P and C sub P naught. C sub P is just the purchase price for the equipment, okay? C sub P naught would be the purchase price for the equipment, assuming that it's made out of carbon steel, that's typically the cheapest, and made for an operating pressure of 1 bar. We're going to have some ways of scaling to move to whatever our actual material is, or if we need sturdier equipment for operating at vacuum or higher pressures. We're going to generally get C sub P naught from equations or graphs, depending on what type of equipment we have. There'll be choices for those. We're going to then need to make adjustments for pressure and material using a pressure factor or a material of construction factor, so F sub P and F sub M. For most equipment, we're going to take this C sub P naught and multiply it by FP and FM. But in some other cases, we're going to have a factor that is going to be an adjustment to get to bare module cost. And in that case, there's going to be a B1 and a B2 that I'll need to look up. And this is going to get me bare module, not purchase price. So C sub P is purchase price. C sub BM is going to be to install the equipment as just a replacement. So I'm not having to prepare the site or any other major things like that. Now, if you are wanting a bare module price, but it is carbon steel and it is 1 bar, then what you're going to do is take C sub P naught and FP and FM will be 1. And so therefore, the bare module price will be B1 plus B2 times the C sub P naught. There are various ways that we're going to find these various module factors. And I'm just going to show you a few variations. But for instance, pressure factors for vessels, what we're going to do is we're going to, like, for various sizes, diameters given here for these vessels, then we're going to find what pressure we want to operate at. And as long as I'm down at near atmospheric pressure, then there's not going to be too much of an additional thickness of the wall. But especially once we hit like 10 bar or higher, there's really going to be a significant thickness factor. So it's going to cost more in material. For vacuum, it's going to cost a little bit more. So you'll notice that this number is just a little bit higher than at atmospheric pressure. But so we're going to find our diameter for our vessel, we'll find our operating pressure, and then read straight across to find the pressure factor, F sub P. Materials factors tend to be a little bit more complicated. And there are a couple of ways that we'll see graphs like this. But the way they've set these up in the textbook is you're going to look in table A3, you're going to find your piece of equipment. So let's say it was, I don't know, a centrifugal pump was item 10, okay? And item 10 based out of carbon steel would be this, maybe made out of stainless steel might be this, made out of titanium might be this. And in any case, we're going to read over here, we're going to look in the table to find the ID number for our equipment with that material, and then we'll read over here to find out what the materials factor is. Now the steps get a little complicated. We're going to first find a C sub P value. Usually we start with a C sub P naught, okay, and that's going to be out of Appendix A. And then we're going to find F sub P and F sub M. That's going to be a few pages further in. We'll use these to get a bare module factor and then calculate the bare module cost. Now, all of these are going to be based on $2001, so we're going to need to still update based on the time using the SEPC. They give SEPC in the tables. And again, we're basing it on $2001, so we'll need to bring this to the future. Now, exactly how to do these and looking at the appendix, we're going to be looking at that in an example in the next lesson. And we're going to be doing more of this in class also. But this is definitely something you need to find a copy of the book before we can progress to the next lesson. So, we will continue by looking at an example, and for now, thank you for your time.